I was diagnosed with colon cancer June the 17th of 1999, and it was 3 days after my 30th birthday. My first reaction, I was really taken back. I was stunned because finding out for me was not during a routine colonoscopy. I actually found out about it during another procedure, and it was a procedure that came about when I went to see my OB/GYN doctor. And I was telling her about a sharp pain that I was having in my right side. And I said, there's no rhyme or reason to when it comes or goes. And I started not to even bring it up because I thought it was just related to, at the time I was exercising and in good health, so started not to bring it up. But I brought it up and I said, it's just a real sharp pain. And they did some other clinical evaluations, and from that she scheduled a laparoscopy. So when they were doing that procedure, they suspected it was going to be a cyst on my ovary. So during that procedure, they found that there was a cyst on my right ovary, and that's when they also discovered the tumor. And it was a large tumor, and by the size and the look of it, I could tell that it was cancerous, and I turned out to have stage 4 colon cancer. So that's why it was just, it just took me, it took the family, it just stunned us all because there was no family history, there were no signs and symptoms that I was having. I felt great, so that's why it was just real shocking to hear that diagnosis. For me, it was just my foundation that I was brought up with, and that was my belief in God. Just relying on that after getting over the initial shock, it just helped me to be in a better place with my state of mind. And of course, my family by my side every step of the way. I just try to remind myself not to get too big for life, just to stay humble, and don't let life get too big for me. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the world these days, so try not to get overwhelmed and just take one day at a time. As far as activities, I love the great outdoors, the whole family does, so we love being outside, especially in the summertime. Hiking, kayaking, and taking the dogs around the park. We like just watching movies and family time. I do, and there's so many myths out there, and there's some negative feedback out there about the whole procedure. And that's what I tried to focus on. I tried to dispel all that negativity and the myths, and I tried to take them through the process to let them know, it's not that bad, and it surely beats the alternative of hearing the diagnosis. I think I would tell them that if you had the power to save yourself or one of your family members, would you do it? And yes, we would. Everybody would. And by giving a colonoscopy, it gives them that power. It gives them the power to educate themselves, educate the family. It gives them the power to not have to go through chemo and radiation and all the doctor's appointment and the stress that can come along with those things. After my diagnosis, I went through chemo treatment and also radiation treatment. Sometimes is a little disturbing because I kept hearing, you're too young for this. You're too young to have this disease. You shouldn't have this disease. Well, you know what? Here I am. I got the disease. Let's move past that. Tell me your recommendations for the treatment plan, and let's see where we end up. And I had one doctor, he didn't want me to do the radiation. And he didn't want me to do the radiation treatments because, I was young, we didn't have any kids, and it was going to make me sterile. And I said, well, if I'm not going to be here anyway, what difference does it make? So, and everybody's different. Everybody's got to decide for themselves what treatments they want. I elected to do both. Now, my dad, he went through, he had melanoma, and he elected not to do any treatments whatsoever. And I told him, I was like, it's your choice, but you got to realize when you make that choice that you got to live with the consequences. So, my recovery, it seemed long and hard, and I guess I'm an independent person. Staples were all down the front of me, so I couldn't be so independent. I had to rely on a lot of help from family and others. So it was hard. I mean, I was used to being active. I went from being active to sitting on the couch, and then that means you have to think about stuff, and I just really didn't want to think about anything. And at the time, I was working as an admissions coordinator at our local hospice office. So I knew the things that could come along with the cancer diagnosis. I knew the survival rates. That's why I say, if you have the opportunity to get scoped and the chance not to go through any of that, that's what somebody needs to do.